tools, gauges, unit, disconnect. We're replacing this electrical whip here. This goes to the unit, and as you can see, it's obviously caused some damage in the past. It's very warped because it's very tight. So I told the guy that we would replace it and with a little more slack, so it was easier to take this panel off. Got recovery tank, recovery machine, vacuum pump, nitrogen, which I think I might have to go grab another bottle, oxyacetylene torch kit. There's the whip, there's the compressor, and then the scale sitting up there with my tablet. Yeah, it's going to take a few hours, so it's going to be kind of a lengthy video. Definitely going on YouTube. Subscribe, but I'll have this clipped down to where I can send clips and stuff to people and do the video. So yeah, fun times. Let's get started. Nice thing about these mics is that I can be this far away. I don't have to feel like I'm screaming. I can literally just talk to myself, and you guys are going to hear me just freaking fine. Okay, so we're going to take off. I know you can't see my face. I apologize for camera work. I'm literally setting this up on top of the disconnect. Okay, power's off already. What I'm actually going to do before I take the unit apart, I'm actually going to disconnect the whip so I can open up the panel, and that way it's out of the way and we can worry about putting that together at the very end. We want to make sure that that disconnect has no power to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the voltmeter out of the tool bag, test power coming from the house, make sure it's completely turned off. All right, so the wire is dead. Or the disconnect is dead from the house. We left it turned off at the breaker last time we were here. So now I'm just going to completely disassemble the whip and try to set this up to where you guys can see me. Okay, so we're going to disassemble. This is to the unit down here, and up here is to the house. So we're going to loosen that. Again, sorry for the poor loosen that. Sorry for the poor video skills with pulling this wire out, that wire out, and the ground out. So both wires are here and here, and then all I've got to do is somehow figure out, because we've already got the whip down here figured out, pull that out. Come on, you stupid. I might have to. There we go. I ain't stupid. Just dumb. Let's not put that ground wire next to that, even though it's dead. Okay. So now that we got that going on, out of the camera view, we'll do this. And the whip has officially, I got zip ties over here. The whip has officially been removed. What we're going to do is we are going to find, which actually you can see I left the compressor wires undone from last time I was here. Same thing with the capacitor. I think the capacitor was actually fine, but I left it all disconnected anyway. So we got to find the wires for the fan and compressor, disconnect them from in here, shove them through this hole that's located in this corner here, and then we can start taking this off, moving it, and get to the compressor inside. All right, so I got the fan wires and the compressor wires all pulled out. So now all I have to do is just attach all this stuff. I know I'm kind of out of angle, but I don't care. That's my video. So one of the things I plan on getting though is, I'm gonna put these up here too. One of the things I plan on getting is like a tripod or something of some sort. So yeah, but we're gonna remove this guy now. Sometimes these wires are installed in such a very, I wouldn't necessarily say precocious, but a shitty way, to where it makes it difficult to freaking. There we go. There's that. And that. And that is the fan. I'll take you and put you over here. Okay. Cool. So now that we got that going, I'm going to need to break those. Yep, that's fun. All right. So if you would come with me and see. So we've got, this is the compressor wire. So this is your run. The black wire is your common, and the blue wire is your start. Runs all the way back to a plug that uses a shake. Oh, there we go. And it's off. Now the compressor is completely disconnected electrically. So we still have to go through and sweat this joint and this joint off, and then dismount the compressor. And at that point, I need water, a bucket, and rags, which of course I didn't grab from the van. So, but I do have to break off this and this, as they are too close for comfort for me to the brace joints. All right, so we got the recovery machine going. I'm hooked up to my gauges so I can kind of see where the refrigerant pressure lies. And we're going to kind of just empty this bitch until that thing turns off a couple times. And then we're going to close everything off. And then we should be good to then start opening stuff up. So that includes the Schraders at both valves, so we can purge nitrogen through the system. Okay, so now that we're finally freaking done emptying this thing out, there was still like 40 psi that I had to just let sit through and cycle the freaking thing over and over again. So now that that's done, now it's the fun part. Now we get to remove the compressor. Let's have some fun, shall we? So the trick is to get the copper essentially red hot on the compressor, and then you want to get the silphos kind of out of there, and then that way you can take, once that silphos is melted, you can take the, I know you guys can't see anything, there we go. Oh, those refrigerant gases are no joke. All right, one down, one to go. No fun, dude. Not fun at all. Come on, come on, come on. Ah, Jesus. Okay, can't do that. Oh boy. All right. All right, so I'm gonna disconnect the compressor first and then kind of pull it out. All right, we're gonna try this again. I've been recording for 6 minutes. Nice. Not like I haven't done this before. All right. Okay, something's going on. I don't know what, but there's something going through that. Holy. We got the new compressor installed. I learned what refrigerant tastes like. We had some leftover remaining Freon be superheated to the point where it was a gas and it got into my mouth. It tastes oddly sweet, but not like a good sweet. It's very gross. It also burns like a mofo. So we're going to be coming back tomorrow to do that, to finish up. Right now we have it pressure tested, holding at a 320 psi. I had to go back a couple times and redo some holes I missed. I kind of rushed through it because of the refrigerant issue, so I just left it. Or I had to. It's not my best work, clearly. So it's 5:50. It's gonna take me about 25 minutes to get home, if traffic is good. All right, so today's day 2. We're finishing up this heat pump compressor swap out. Yesterday it kicked my ass, so I'm hoping that today it's not too bad. Right now I got the system going down into a vacuum. We were able to hold 320-ish psi overnight, which is good. But it seems like there is a long road ahead of us anyway. Been here for about 45 minutes to an hour already. But we got the system vacuuming down. So, and then we are currently, we haven't even hit microns yet, but it's just definitely going to take some time. I am pulling vacuum through both hoses. So this is what it looks like. So this is the main vacuum hose. This is what's hooked up to the vacuum pump. It is only going through a 1/4 inch over on the vacuum pump itself. So it is going to take some time on top of that. But I do have the low side and the high side open on both ends of the manifold. So it's pulling the vacuum through both sides. I have now officially hit micron level. So it's going to take some time to do that. So while I'm waiting for this, I'm going to do the electrical whip, running from that box down to the cabinet here, and then I'm going to clean up the cabinet here and probably put the cover back on just for the remaining of the time. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Once we get everything under 500 microns is the standard. Right now we are down to about 1900. So once we get under 500 microns, then I'll be able to charge up the system with the factory charge. All right, sexy people. So we got the new whip in while it's still going down to vacuum. We're still at 742, so we're doing good, but we're not there yet, quite there yet. A little less than half where we were at last time I recorded, which is probably about 20, 30 minutes ago. But we got the electrical whip in. There's so much more excess and so much more slack there, and it's not super tight. I'll show you here in a second, but it's not super tight to the actual cabinet for the heat pump. So then that way the uh, panel, I'm actually going to try to bend back in place, but we can put that and take it on and take it off with ease. So this is what I'm talking about. Down here, there's still no power to it, but down here, we've got it tied off, having it run up and terminate inside here. Everything's all nice and tight and spec. And you can see there's plenty of mobility here, so we can turn it and twist it and put the panel back on. Obviously, I'm not going to leave these wires here. I'm going to go grab zip ties and make that look a little bit prettier. Then yesterday, I noticed that I accidentally smashed the wire nut on the ground. So we're going to take care of that. And then I dropped one of these sleeves somewhere on the ground, and I don't know where it's at. So I'm going to go get another one of those. But other than that, that's where she's at so far. All right, so we're still vacuuming, but we're down to 525 microns, so we're really close to the end, but I kind of wanted to go over how this whole process works with refilling the refrigerant. Obviously, for all the techs out there, they know that this is upside down, right? So we want to be able to do this actually upside down. This is right side up, but when filling, it's upside down. Anyway, um, so what we're going to do is I'm currently weighing in at 10 pounds and about half an ounce, so I'm just going to round down to about 10 pounds of weight here. These tanks usually weigh between 7 and 8 pounds empty, so that means that this has about 2 to 3 pounds of refrigerant left in it. Obviously, this heat pump does require more than that, but that's why I've got a second tank. Anyway, so the process of doing this is as soon as that vacuum pump is done, we're going to close off this vacuum line. Well, we're going to close this off first, then turn that off. But we're going to close this off, turn that off. Then we're going to close the high side off. Then this is hooked up. We're going to open up the refrigerant side, which is going to, after This is opened. This is open. We're going to open this up, and the vacuum inside the heat pump is going to suck everything out to the point where we're only going to have 7 or 8 pounds. Then, once that's done, then we're going to close this. Then we're going to close this. Then we're going to close this. We're going to disconnect this, put the new tank on, put this back on, open this, and open that, and allow the rest of the vacuum to pull in the refrigerant from that tank. When it gets to the point where it stops, then we're going to turn power back on here. We're going to go back inside, turn it back on. Then we're going to turn cooling on, because even though this is a heat pump, it is a Bryant heat pump, and these guys' reversing valve is on heat, I believe. So when you call for cooling, you're going to be utilizing the suction side as the actual low side rather than the um, discharge temp like you do when it's during a heat pump cycle. Then we're going to let it run for a few minutes, and then we're going to slowly start. Once that's done, we're going to close this off, then add power. And then we're just going to slowly add about 1 to 2 pounds per spurt. Give it about 5 to 7 minutes, let the pressures equal out, and then we want to see. So under here is going to say superheat, under here is going to say subcool. I'll show you at that point, but we want superheat to be about 14, right where this 0 is at. We want between 12 and 14, and here for subcool we want about 10. And then obviously these pressures want to be pretty decent. The other thing that we can do, I'm not going to do it because that's not how I do it, but another way that we could do it is that we will continue to add refrigerant until both pressures match about 150 psi. And the reason why we want to do about 150 psi is because the ambient temperature is about 53 degrees, and due to the PT chart that I was looking at, 53 degrees is about 151 psi. So if we can get about 150 psi in there, it might be quicker that way. That way you don't have to keep spurting in a couple pounds here and there, waiting 5 minutes or just having it go on. But once that vacuum is lost, it's kind of tough. So as the system is running, it kind of automatically creates a vacuum to pull refrigerant through that suction line. Hence why it's more time consuming, but it's easier to do it in way one. The other thing is, if you guys are doing heat pump stuff like this, freaking wear booties when you go inside, or don't go inside at all. Have the customer do everything. As you can see, all this mud is crazy. It's kind of a pain in the ass, not gonna lie. All right, so we are all done with this system. We ended up charging it to a little bit over 9 pounds of refrigerant. There was apparently some line set that I didn't take into consideration, which is totally fine. But we did have, I think it was a grand total of 9 pounds and 25 or 0.25 ounces, 0.75 ounces, something like that. So, or no, 2.75 ounces. So, like I said, refrigerant, it is what it is. Checked it in cooling, ran the system in cooling. Like I was saying, that's what we're going to do anyway. So the system was running in cooling. We got subcool of 10 degrees. The temperature, ambient temperature, is pretty cold out. It's about 50-something degrees. So obviously that's too cold to typically run an AC or run the unit in cooling. So the superheat was up at 17. That's not great, but I'm blaming the ambient temperature. We can always check back in the next couple months when we come out to do the spring tune-up. So with that being said, I'm now having the system run in heat. I have to go grab batteries because my manifold has died officially, so I can't determine what the temperature of the lines are, but everything else seems to be running smoothly. Customer came out, stated that it is a lot quieter now than it was before. So solid work. It did take 2 days, which sucks because usually I can get this stuff done in 1 day, but it was just kicking my ass yesterday. So thanks for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe on YouTube. There's also plenty of clips that are going to be posted on my TikTok and my Flip. So go check those out as well. Give me a follow. watch my stuff, engage. I really do like questions and comments and stuff, as long as it's not super not helpful. So if you're just sitting on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, you're just criticizing people because it's not how they do, it's not how you would do the work. That's not beneficial for anybody, including someone who's a content creator. So try not to do that. It would be better to ask questions on, hey, why do you do it this way? Why didn't you try it this way? Like just out of general curiosity type stuff. But yeah, and then I do plan on, for the TikTokers and the Flip community, I do plan on responding to questions and stuff. So if you guys do have any questions, please leave comments down below. I will do individual responses and videos to those as well. So thank you very much. Remember to change your filters, and I'll see you guys in the next video.